Change your thoughts, change your results. The Power of Belief and Awareness to Shape Your Destiny, by David Russo. Chapter 1. Awareness, the first step to change. Every change begins with awareness. You cannot change what you do not first notice. Most people live their lives on autopilot, reacting to situations, emotions, and thoughts as if they have no control over them. They wonder why they keep repeating the same patterns, the same kinds of relationships, jobs, struggles, or disappointments, without realizing that these results are the mirror reflections of their unconscious thoughts and beliefs. Awareness is like turning on the light in a dark room. You finally see what's been there all along. Your mind is constantly producing thoughts, thousands of them each day. Most of these thoughts come from long-held beliefs formed by past experiences, upbringing, and the opinions of others. The problem is, many of those beliefs were accepted without question. You might have learned to believe things like "I'm not good enough," "I always fail," or "people like me never succeed." These quiet, background beliefs create the emotional tone of your life and influence your choices more than you realize. The first step to correcting your results is to bring these hidden thoughts into the light of your awareness. Begin by observing your thoughts without judgment. Throughout your day, pause and notice what you're thinking. When you face a challenge, ask yourself, "What am I believing about this situation?" When you make a mistake, listen to your inner voice. Does it criticize or encourage you? When you feel anxious or fearful, what story is your mind telling you? This kind of awareness takes practice, but it's the foundation of all transformation. The goal is not to fight your thoughts, but to understand them. Journaling is one of the most powerful tools for developing awareness. Take a few minutes each day to write down what you're feeling and thinking. Don't filter or edit, just let the thoughts pour out onto the page. Over time, you'll begin to see patterns. You might notice recurring themes like fear of rejection, self-doubt, or worry about the future. Recognizing these patterns is progress. It means you're becoming conscious of what was once hidden. You can't fix a belief you can't see. Awareness also means taking responsibility, not in a blaming or guilt-filled way, but in an empowering way. When you realize that your thoughts have been creating your results, you also realize that you have the power to create something new. You are not a victim of your circumstances, you are the author of them. This is a profound shift. It's the moment when you stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to show me?" As your awareness grows, you'll start catching limiting thoughts in real time. You might hear yourself say, "I can't do this," and instead of believing it, you'll pause and ask, "Is that really true?" That simple pause creates space to choose a new thought, a new belief, and eventually, a new result. Awareness doesn't mean perfection, it means presence. It's about being awake to your own mental and emotional world so that you can direct it rather than be directed by it. Every major change in your life will begin at this level. Before habits shift, before results change, before destiny unfolds, there is awareness. It's the seed of transformation, and the more you nurture it, the more power you gain to create the life you truly desire. So before you move to the next step, take a deep breath, slow down, and start noticing. Your thoughts are not random no's, they are signals guiding you toward understanding who you are and what you're creating. The moment you become aware of them, you take back your creative power. Chapter 2. The Belief Behind the Result. Every result in your life, good or bad, has a belief behind it. Beliefs are the invisible architects of your reality. They determine what you see, what you expect, and what you're willing to reach for. If you believe something is possible, your mind will find ways to create it. If you believe it's impossible, your mind will find reasons to prove you right. Either way, your beliefs are always working, silently shaping your experiences. Think about a result in your life that frustrates you. Maybe you've struggled to save money, attract healthy relationships, or follow through on goals. Beneath each of those results is a belief. It might be, "I'll never get ahead financially," or "I always end up hurt," or "I'm not disciplined enough." These beliefs are not facts, they are simply thoughts you've accepted as truth. Once accepted, they become filters that color how you see the world. You don't see reality as it is, you see it as you believe it to be. Beliefs are formed in many ways, through childhood experiences, cultural messages, emotional pain, or repeated patterns. A child who's told you're too much may grow into an adult who hides their voice. Someone who faced repeated rejection may develop the belief that "I'm not lovable," and unconsciously choose situations that reinforce a belief. Over time, these inner conclusions become so familiar that we stop questioning them. They feel like facts. But when you examine your results with awareness, you begin to see that what feels real is often just what's been rehearsed in your mind for years. To change your results, you have to go deeper than your actions. You must uncover the belief driving the behavior. Ask yourself, what must I believe to keep getting this result? For example, if you continually procrastinate, maybe the hidden belief is if I try, I might fail. If you often settle for less than you deserve, maybe the belief is I'm not worthy of more. Once you name the belief, you've exposed the root. And once it's visible, it can be changed. For example, if you continually procrastinate, maybe the hidden belief is if I try, I might fail. If you often settle for less than you deserve, maybe the belief is I'm not worthy of more. Once you name the belief, you've exposed the root. And once it's visible, it can be changed. One powerful exercise is to challenge each limiting belief with truth. Write down a belief that has been holding you back, and then ask, is this absolutely true? Then find evidence that proves the opposite. For instance, if you believe I never succeed, list times when you did succeed, even in small ways. This rewires your brain to see new possibilities. The more evidence you gather against the old belief, the weaker it becomes. Another helpful question is, who would I be without this belief? Imagine yourself acting, speaking, and choosing from a new belief like I am capable, I am deserving, or I can learn anything I need to. Feel how that version of you thinks and behaves. That feeling is the energy of transformation. Belief change doesn't happen through force, it happens through awareness, questioning, and practice. Remember, every result begins with belief. If you're not satisfied with what you're seeing in your life, don't attack the result, correct the belief behind it. When your beliefs align with your vision, your thoughts naturally shift, your words become empowering, and your actions gain momentum. The outer change will follow the inner correction. Your beliefs are the blueprint of your destiny, but you hold the pencil. You can erase, rewrite, and redraw the story anytime you choose. The moment you decide to believe something new, the direction of your life begins to change. Chapter 3: Reprogramming the Mind. Once you've identified the beliefs behind your results, the next step is to reprogram your mind with new ones. Think of your mind as a powerful computer. Over the years, it's been loaded with all kinds of programs, some helpful, some harmful. Those programs are your beliefs, habits, and thought patterns. If you want new results, you don't need to throw out the computer, you just need to install new software. Reprogramming begins with understanding that the mind learns through repetition and emotion. A single new thought won't override years of conditioning, but consistent thoughts charged with emotion can. Every time you repeat a new belief with genuine feeling, you're carving a new mental pathway. Over time, these new pathways become your default way of thinking. That's how transformation becomes permanent, through practice and patience. Start by choosing one or two core beliefs you want to change. For example, you might choose to replace I'm not enough with I am more than enough, or I always fail with everything I do teaches me how to succeed. Write these new beliefs down clearly and speak them out loud daily. The words may feel awkward at first, your old conditioning may resist them, but that's natural. You're teaching your mind a new language, and fluency takes time. Visualization is another powerful reprogramming tool. Close your eyes and imagine yourself living from your new belief. See yourself confident, peaceful, successful, or loving, whatever matches your vision. Engage all your senses. What do you see, hear, and feel in that version of your life? The subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between real and vividly imagined experiences. The more clearly you visualize, the more your brain begins to accept it as truth. Pair this with emotion. Emotion is the fuel that powers new beliefs. If you repeat affirmations without feeling, your mind will treat them as empty words. But when you feel the truth of your new belief, when you let gratitude, pride, and joy rise within you, you activate the subconscious. This is how belief moves from theory to reality. Reprogramming also means monitoring your mental environment. Pay attention to what you read, watch, and listen to. The mind absorbs whatever it's exposed to most frequently. If you constantly feed it negativity or fear, it will reinforce your old limitations. Surround yourself with content and people who reflect your new beliefs back to you. Conversations, books, podcasts, music, and even your physical environment. Everything carries energy. Make sure yours supports your growth. You can also use a simple technique called belief stacking. Instead of trying to leap from disbelief to certainty, build momentum with smaller, believable steps. For instance, if I am wealthy feels too far from your current reality, start with I am open to new opportunities for abundance. Once that feels true, move to I attract abundance naturally. Gradual progress feels authentic to the mind, and authenticity strengthens belief. Finally, practice consistency. The old beliefs were built through years of repetition, and the new ones require the same commitment. Repetition creates familiarity, and familiarity becomes belief. The moment you catch yourself thinking an old, limiting thought, replace it immediately with your new one, even if you don't fully believe it yet. Over time, your subconscious will accept it as your new truth. Reprogramming the mind is not about pretending life is perfect, it's about choosing the thoughts that align with the life you want to create. You are not a victim of your conditioning. You are the one writing, rewriting, and refining your mental script every day. When you take control of that inner dialogue, your outer world begins to reorganize around your new beliefs. You are the programmer of your own destiny, and every new belief you plant is a line of code in the life you're designing. Chapter 4. From Thought to Word. Speaking your reality. Your words are the bridge between the invisible world of your thoughts and the visible world of your results. Every word you speak carries energy, direction, and intention. They shape not only how others perceive you, but also how you perceive yourself. The words you use daily are powerful tools of creation or quiet weapons of limitation. If your thoughts are the seeds, then your words are the sunlight and water that help them grow. Many people underestimate the power of language. They speak casually, unaware that their words are reinforcing the very outcomes they wish to escape. Phrases like I can't afford that, I'm always unlucky, I never have time, or that's just my luck, may seem harmless, but every repetition strengthens a belief. The subconscious mind takes words literally. When you declare I can't, your mind stops looking for solutions. When you say I'm tired of this, your mind amplifies exhaustion. But when you speak possibility, I'm learning how, I'm finding a way, I'm growing through this, your mind begins to search for evidence to support your new statements. The transformation from thought to word is about alignment. When your spoken words match the new beliefs you are building, you accelerate change. Every affirmation, every intentional statement, is a message to your subconscious about who you are becoming. This is why self-talk matters so much. The conversation you have with yourself every day determines your confidence, your courage, and your consistency. You are always listening to yourself, even when no one else is. Start by observing your language with awareness. Notice how often you speak in limitation rather than empowerment. Catch phrases like I can't, I have to, it's hard, or I'm stuck. Replace them with words that open doors instead of closing them. I'm capable, I choose to, I'm learning, or I'm in the process of improving. These subtle shifts create powerful emotional changes. Words like choose and can restore your sense of agency. Words like learning and growing invite patience and hope. Another practice is affirmative speech, consciously declaring what you desire as if it already exists. For example, I am confident and calm in every situation. Opportunities flow to me easily. I speak with clarity, purpose, and power. I attract people and experiences that align with my growth. At first, your logical mind might resist. It will say, that's not true, but remember, you are not lying to yourself, you are training your mind to believe in a higher truth. Repetition and emotion make it real. The more you affirm and feel your new words, the faster your subconscious aligns with them. The words you speak about others also shape your vibration. When you speak kindness, you reinforce abundance and peace within yourself. When you criticize or complain, you reinforce scarcity and negativity. Words are frequencies, and what you send out comes back multiplied. Speaking positively about others strengthens your own energy and keeps you aligned with gratitude and growth. Another way to reprogram your speech is through gratitude language. Instead of focusing on what's missing, start each day by speaking what you appreciate. I'm thankful for my progress. I'm grateful for the lessons I'm learning. I'm proud of how far I've come. Gratitude words lift your vibration and align your thoughts, emotions, and result in the same positive direction. Remember, your words are not just descriptions of your life, They are declarations that shape it. Every sentence you speak is a seed you plant in the soil of your subconscious. If you don't like what's growing, change the words you're planting. Speak as if your future is listening, because it is. Chapter 5. Turning thought into movement. Living your inner truth. Once your thinking and speaking start to line up, the next step is putting that alignment into motion. Action is where the unseen becomes tangible, where belief transforms into behavior and intention turns into progress. You can hold empowering thoughts and speak with conviction, but without action that matches them, your growth stays theoretical. The choices you make and the steps you commit to each day are what give your new mindset shape and momentum. Action is belief expressed through your body. It's the visible evidence of the truths you've been repeating to yourself. When you take steps that reflect your new identity, even in the presence of doubt, fear, or hesitation, you are telling your subconscious, "This is the version of me I am choosing now." Each aligned move weakens the pull of your old patterns. For instance, you may affirm, "I am confident," but if you consistently stay silent or hold back from new experiences, the older belief still dominates. The very moment you take even a tiny step, speaking up, making that call, asking for what you want, your mind receives proof that the shift is real. Action completes the loop of transformation. The encouraging part is that your actions don't need to be dramatic or flawless. What matters is that they're steady and doable. The biggest trap people fall into is waiting to feel ready. But readiness isn't an emotion, it's a choice. You create the feeling of readiness through movement itself. Confidence doesn't precede action, action builds confidence. Even a small step toward your goal signals to your subconscious that you're committed to this new direction. Taking action also triggers a powerful emotional shift. Fear loosens its grip. You discover that the situations you dreaded are rarely as overwhelming as your imagination made them. Each action melts away a little uncertainty and replaces it with experience, and experience is what creates inner strength. You develop self-trust. You see firsthand that you're capable of navigating far more than you once assumed. A helpful strategy is practicing what I call aligned action. Before you move, pause and ask yourself, does this choice reflect the person I'm becoming? That single question brings you back into awareness. It moves you from reacting to intentionally creating your life. If your intentions and affirmations say, "I live with confidence and clarity," then your behavior should echo that, in the way you communicate, care for yourself, use your time, and meet challenges. Every small choice becomes a vote for the future you intend to embody. It's equally important to understand that not acting is still a form of action. It reinforces the same reality you're trying to shift. If your behavior stays the same, your results will too. But when you take even an imperfect step, you break the cycle. Movement generates momentum. Once you start, possibilities appear that you couldn't see when you were standing still. Life responds to forward energy, and your action becomes an invitation for new opportunities. Be gentle with yourself as you convert belief into behavior. Changing patterns takes practice. Some days you'll slip into old habits, and that's perfectly normal. What matters is your willingness to realign and begin again. Progress is built from persistence, not perfection. Each recommitment strengthens the identity you're growing into and loosens a hold of the one you're outgrowing. When your thoughts, your language, and your actions begin to operate together, you step into genuine personal power. You stop waiting for your life to shift and begin shaping it. Your actions start to reflect your intentions, and soon your external world begins to mirror your inner transformation. So take the first step, no matter how modest it seems. Speak your truth, then live it. Behave like the person you're becoming, and watch your life rise to match your belief. Chapter 6. The Power of Habit and Momentum. Once you've begun to take consistent action, the next step is to turn those actions into habits, because habits are what transform change into a lifestyle. Motivation can get you started, but habits keep you going. It's easy to feel inspired for a few days or weeks, but lasting transformation requires structure, repetition, and rhythm. What you repeatedly do becomes who you are. A habit is simply a thought or action practiced so often that it becomes automatic. You no longer have to think about it consciously, it runs on autopilot. Just as old, limiting habits once created results you didn't want, new empowering habits will create results that align with your higher vision. The goal of this chapter is to show you how to use the power of repetition and momentum to make your new identity permanent. Every habit begins with a small decision, one that seems almost insignificant in the moment. You decide to meditate for 5 minutes, to walk instead of scroll, to speak gratitude instead of complaint. Each small choice plants a seed. On its own, one small habit doesn't look like much, but repeated over time, it becomes the foundation of transformation. The secret is consistency, not intensity. Big changes are built from small, simple actions performed daily. When you start a new habit, your mind may resist. The old patterns will whisper, "This won't last," or "You've tried this before." But remember, resistance is not failure, it's feedback. It simply means your brain is adjusting to a new pattern. Every time you choose the new behavior despite discomfort, you're training your subconscious to accept the new normal. Soon, what once felt hard will feel natural. Momentum is the magic that keeps habits alive. Momentum grows from the energy of progress, even tiny progress. When you see yourself improving, even a little, you begin to feel empowered. That feeling motivates you to keep going, and every small success builds confidence for the next one. This creates a positive loop. Action builds belief, belief fuels more action, and momentum carries you forward with less effort. To strengthen your momentum, celebrate small wins. Too often, people only reward themselves for big achievements, forgetting that big wins are built on small steps. Acknowledge every bit of progress, every day you follow through, every time you choose differently, every moment you show up for yourself. Celebration anchors new habits emotionally. It tells your brain, "This feels good. Let's do it again." It's also helpful to create habit anchors, cues that remind you to practice your new behaviors. For example, if your goal is to speak more positively, use daily triggers like brushing your teeth, driving to work, or checking your phone as reminders to repeat affirmations or express gratitude. By linking a new behavior to an existing routine, you make it easier for your brain to remember. Another key to sustaining habits is environment. Your surroundings can either support your change or sabotage it. Set yourself up for success by arranging your environment to make good habits easy and bad habits inconvenient. If you're trying to read more, keep a book on your nightstand. If you're working on fitness, keep your shoes ready by the door. The fewer decisions you have to make, the easier it becomes to stay consistent. Remember, habits are not just about discipline, they're about identity. When you build habits that reflect your new beliefs, you reinforce who you're becoming. Every time you choose the new action, you're saying, "This is me now." Over time, your habits shape your character, and your character shapes your destiny. Change doesn't happen overnight, but with consistency and momentum, it becomes inevitable. Small daily habits, multiplied by time, create extraordinary results. So don't underestimate the power of the little things. What you do consistently matters far more than what you do occasionally. Keep your momentum alive. Protect it. Nurture it. Because once momentum builds, it becomes unstoppable, and so do you. Chapter 7. Aligning Values and Destiny. As your habits begin to take root, it's important to make sure they grow in the right direction toward a life that truly reflects who you are and what matters most to you. This is where your values come in. Values are the guiding principles that shape your decisions, define your integrity, and ultimately determine your destiny. When your actions and beliefs align with your core values, life feels purposeful and balanced. But when you live out of alignment, even success can feel empty. Your values are like an internal compass. They guide you quietly, even when you're not consciously thinking about them. The problem is, many people live according to values they never chose. They inherit them from family, culture, religion, or society, and then wonder why their lives feel disconnected or unfulfilled. Real change requires that you stop and ask, what truly matters to me? Not what you were taught to value, not what looks good to others, but what your soul knows is right for you. Take a moment to reflect. What principles do you want your life to stand for? Maybe it's honesty, freedom, compassion, growth, creativity, faith, or contribution. There are no wrong answers, only truths and clarity. Once you define your values, you begin to see why certain choices in your life have brought peace while others brought stress. Alignment feels like harmony. Misalignment feels like tension. For example, if one of your core values is family, but your lifestyle constantly pulls you away from loved ones, you'll feel conflicted no matter how much you achieve. If you value growth but keep settling for comfort, you'll feel restless even when things seem stable. The discomfort is a signal, not a punishment. It's your inner compass trying to redirect you back toward truth. When your values guide your thoughts and actions, your results begin to flow with greater ease. Decisions become simpler because you're no longer torn between who you are and what you do. You stop chasing what looks good and start building what feels right. You begin to live intentionally rather than reactively. And as you stay true to your values, you naturally attract people and opportunities that resonate with your authentic energy. It's also essential to recognize when your values evolve. Growth often requires letting go of old priorities to make room for new ones. What mattered deeply to you 5 years ago may not hold the same meaning today, and that's okay. Alignment isn't about rigid rules, it's about honesty and awareness. When you stay open to your own evolution, your destiny expands with you. A powerful exercise is to list your top 5 values and rank them in order of importance. Then look at your daily life and ask, do my actions reflect these values? If they don't, that's your cue for realignment. Small adjustments, like saying no to what drains you or yes to what inspires you, can have massive ripple effects. Over time, those aligned choices build a life of integrity, peace, and fulfillment. Living by your values also strengthens your confidence. When you act from principle instead of pressure, you no longer need external approval. You become grounded, centered, and clear. This is the essence of destiny, not something mysterious that happens to you, but something you create through consistent alignment between what you believe, what you value, and how you live. When your thoughts and words reflect your beliefs, and your actions reflect your values, your destiny unfolds naturally. You no longer chase results, you attract them through alignment. True power isn't about control, it's about coherence. When your inner world and outer world match, life feels harmonious, meaningful, and deeply satisfying. So take time to align. Ask yourself daily, is this thought, word, or action true to my values? Every time your answer is yes, you take another step toward the destiny that was meant for you all along. Chapter 8. The courage to change your direction. Progress rarely follows a straight line. Even when your vision is clear, your values feel aligned, and your routines support your goals, life can still drift you off your intended path. Obstacles appear, doubts resurface, and familiar habits try to pull you back. This isn't evidence of failure, it's an opportunity to step into courage. Real courage shows up in the willingness to admit you've strayed and to steer yourself back toward where you truly want to go. Adjusting your direction is one of the strongest demonstrations of personal leadership. Courage begins with noticing. The first part of changing course is simply acknowledging that the direction you're heading isn't producing the outcomes you want. This requires a moment of honest self-observation. Ask yourself, do my thoughts, choices, and daily behaviors reflect the results I'm aiming for? If not, pause and acknowledge that truth without shaming yourself. Awareness isn't self-blame, it's clarity. Seeing the distance between your current reality and your desired one gives you the power to adjust with intention. After awareness comes ownership. Many people default to blaming luck, circumstances, or other people for where they end up. While outside factors can influence the journey, they don't dictate your final destination. Your decisions, beliefs, and actions do. Taking ownership means accepting that you have the ability to shift your direction at any moment. This is freeing because it moves you away from powerlessness and toward agency. Courage acts as the link between seeing the truth and taking responsibility for it. Changing your direction also means facing fear head-on. Fear often hides beneath old routines, quietly reinforcing familiar but unhelpful behaviors. Fear of failing, fear of being judged, fear of leaving your comfort zone, these are the subtle forces that hold you in place. Courage isn't the absence of those fears, it's the willingness to move anyway. Each time you act in a way that challenges a limiting belief, fear loses its grit and your sense of potential expands. Practical course correction starts with the right questions. Ask, what belief or behavior it is leading to this outcome? What mindset needs to shift? What action will realign me with my values and goals? The right questions open pathways to solutions. They reorient your mind toward possibilities instead of problems. Without reflective questioning, you risk unconsciously repeating the same patterns. Another essential ingredient is humility. Changing direction often requires admitting that something you've been doing isn't producing the result you intended. That's not a weakness, it's wisdom. Humility allows you to adjust your strategy without pride or defensiveness. When courage and humility work together, you gain both the strength to change and the discernment to change well. Momentum becomes your partner in this process. Even when you feel off track, small aligned steps have impact. Tiny shifts accumulate and gently alter your trajectory. Each time you choose a new thought, a new word, or a new action, you move closer to the life you want. You don't need perfection, you just need consistency. Transformation happens through repeated adjustments, not massive overnight changes. And remember to honor your own bravery. Every time you consciously realign your path, you reaffirm that you are in charge of your own life. You cultivate resilience, confidence, and inner steadiness. Challenges will always arise, but each correction strengthens your ability to navigate them with clarity. Your destiny isn't carved in stone. It's flexible, constantly shaped by your awareness, your choices, your habits, and your willingness to act courageously. When you choose to adjust your direction with intention, you reclaim authorship of your story. You move toward the results you desire, fully aware that each intentional step, no matter how small, guides you toward alignment, growth, and fulfillment. Chapter 9. The Ripple Effect: How Your Changes Impact Everything Around You. Change is never contained. The thoughts you think, the words you speak, the actions you take, and the habits you build all ripple outward, influencing not only your own life but the lives of those around you. Just as a single stone dropped into a still pond creates expanding circles, your personal transformation generates effects far beyond what you might immediately notice. Understanding this ripple effect can deepen your commitment to change and inspire you to live consciously. Every action you take sends a subtle message into the world. When you begin to think positively, speak intentionally, and act with courage, you raise your energy. People respond to energy more than to words. Your presence alone can inspire, uplift, or calm those around you. Conversely, negative or reactive behaviors also ripple outward, often affecting others in ways you may not realize. By taking responsibility for your inner state, you automatically influence your outer environment. The ripple effect is particularly evident in relationships. When you change, others often change too, not because you try to control them, but because your new energy invites them to respond differently. A calm, confident, and consistent individual encourages cooperation, trust, and respect. A person who lives according to their values and integrity naturally models what is possible, giving others permission to rise to the occasion. Your transformation becomes a silent leadership, influencing your family, friends, co-workers, and even casual acquaintances. Even small shifts can have enormous impact. Imagine consistently choosing patience instead of frustration with a colleague. Over time, tension decreases, collaboration improves, and mutual respect grows. Or consider speaking kindly in your household when stress runs high. That one small choice can shift the emotional tone of the entire environment. Your actions are contagious. The more aligned you become, the stronger and more positive the ripples you create. Beyond relationships, your personal growth also influences opportunity. When your thoughts, words, and actions align with your values, the universe, or, in practical terms, your environment and network, begins to respond. People notice integrity, reliability, and purpose. Doors open that previously seemed closed. New possibilities emerge because your aligned energy attracts situations and individuals that resonate with your transformed self. In other words, your results are no longer just the product of effort, they are amplified by the subtle, magnetic force of your coherence. The ripple effect also extends to your community and even to the world. Acts of kindness, courage, and integrity multiply as others observe, absorb, and emulate them. You may never see the full impact of your change, but that does not lessen its importance. Every thought, word, and deed that is rooted in awareness and alignment sends waves of influence far beyond what you can measure. It is crucial to remember, however, that ripples follow consistency. A single positive action is valuable, but repeated, aligned actions create momentum that spreads exponentially. Just as habits shape your destiny, They shape the world around you. By committing to daily alignment in thought, word, and deed, you not only transform your own life but become a source of inspiration and possibility for countless others. In essence, your personal evolution is never private. Every step you take toward awareness, courage, and alignment generates effects far greater than you realize. Your transformation is both a gift to yourself and a contribution to the world. By cultivating your inner power and living with intention, you create ripples that extend outward into relationships, communities, and opportunities, shaping a legacy that reflects the best of who you are. Change is contagious. Alignment is magnetic. And every conscious choice you make strengthens the ripple effect, allowing your life and the lives of others to rise together. Chapter 10. Owning Your Destiny. Bringing it all together. All the principles we've explored throughout this book, thought, belief, words, action, habits, values, courage, and the ripple effect, come together in one simple truth: your destiny is in your hands. You are not a passive observer of life, you are its architect. Every result you experience is the product of your inner world meeting the choices you make and the actions you take. To own your destiny is to consciously shape that inner world so that it produces the life you desire. It begins with awareness. Awareness is the foundation of ownership. When you understand your current thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors, you gain the power to change them. Without awareness, change is impossible. With it, transformation is inevitable. Ask yourself the tough questions. What beliefs are shaping my results? Are my actions aligned with my values? Where have I allowed fear to dictate my choices? Honest answers give clarity, and clarity is the precursor to action. Once awareness is established, you exercise responsibility. Taking responsibility is liberating. It shifts the focus from blaming circumstances or others to recognizing your own power. Responsibility is the engine of change. It allows you to move from victimhood to authorship of your life story. You may not control every event in your life, but you do control how you think, speak, and act. And these choices, repeated over time, determine your destiny. Action is the bridge between thought and result. It is not enough to think positively or set intentions, you must act in alignment with your beliefs and values. Start small, be consistent, and build momentum. Each step you take reinforces your new identity, strengthens your habits, and moves you closer to your desired outcomes. Remember, action fuels confidence, and momentum makes progress inevitable. Equally important is alignment with your values. When your actions reflect your deepest principles, life feels purposeful and harmonious. Misalignment creates tension and frustration, while alignment produces clarity, energy, and natural attraction. Your values act as the compass for your decisions. When followed, they ensure that your destination is meaningful and true to who you are. Courage plays a central role in owning your destiny. There will always be moments of fear, doubt, and uncertainty. Courage is not the absence of these feelings, but the willingness to act despite them. Every time you step outside of comfort, confront limiting beliefs, or correct your course, you demonstrate to yourself that you are capable of shaping your life intentionally. Courage multiplies the impact of your thoughts, beliefs, and actions, turning potential into reality. Finally, recognize the ripple effect of your transformation. Your growth does not exist in isolation, it impacts the people and world around you. Every positive thought, word, and action spreads outward, influencing relationships, communities, and opportunities. By owning your destiny, you not only transform your life, but contribute to a broader wave of positive change. Your legacy is created not only by your achievements, but by the energy, inspiration, and example you provide to others. Bringing it all together means living consciously, consistently, and courageously. It means thinking deliberately, speaking intentionally, acting consistently, and aligning with your values. It means correcting your course when necessary and embracing the ripple effect of your choices. When you integrate all these elements, you move from being a participant in life to being its architect. You become the author of your story, the designer of your destiny, and the source of your results. Owning your destiny is both a privilege and a responsibility. It requires awareness, courage, persistence, and alignment. But the rewards are profound. Freedom, fulfillment, and the ability to create a life that reflects the best of who you are. Remember, change begins in your mind, but it is completed in your life. Your thoughts, beliefs, words, and actions have led you here. Now it is time to intentionally lead yourself forward. Your destiny is not somewhere out of reach, it is yours to shape, day by day, chose by chose, ripple by ripple. Own it fully, and watch as your life transforms into the reflection of your highest vision.